It's a robbery. Call the police for me.
Do we have a definition of legal and illegal? Russ, can you give us the legal side of it? What is the definition of legal and illegal?
The belly button is the line.
Belly button is the line.
Anything below that is a low blow.
Anything below that is a low blow.
So if you're hitting the pants, it's not a legal blow.
If you're hitting the pants, the blow is not legal. Thank you, Russ.
It's legal punch. Yeah.
Some people say that the punch was legal.
Online, a lot of the reaction was.
Ah, come on, online means.
You know what's amazing is how you can be in the media scrum talking about people online and what their opinion is. I had an idiot in my Hangout chat saying that Joshua got done for TUEs, all because I mentioned Tyson Fury's Nandrolone UCAD case, which he got busted for and actually accepted liability. You haven't got no receipts.
They have essentially come to an agreement. We've had a statement issued on behalf of Tyson Fury, Hughie Fury and UCAD, and I'll just pick through the bones of it. The anti-doping rule violations based on the reported presence of elevated levels of nandrolone are upheld. The refusal charge, and that's that Tyson Fury missed a test, that has been withdrawn, and both Hughie and Tyson Fury will receive a 2-year ban.
Now, Usyk, he did milk it on the canvas a little. He did. But Daniel and Frank Warren, they're milking the situation too, to say they were hard done by. Now, there's two stills there. You make of it what you like. Are them shots above or below the belly button? Or borderline? Don Charles tried to say Usyk cheated. Well, that's a little harsh. The referee deemed the blow low, so Usyk didn't get a count and he took full advantage of that. I don't think Don can prove that Usyk was part of the conspiracy. Now, he can challenge the referee's decision not to count it as a knockdown. I've got no problem with Don questioning that at all. But Usyk, no, I don't think it's right to implicate Usyk in this. This is a team effort. You've got to come prepared, and that means the coaches have to be ready, the promoters, you've got to be ready, especially fighting away. Like, Frank Warren post-fight said Daniel's been practicing body shots. He was practicing that body shot, and they swear blind they was robbed. Well, it was up to them when they got in the ring to point out to the referee that the protector is high. So if we do land borderline shots, we've pointed out to you that the protector is high, and they could have got the referee perhaps to pull the protector down before the fight, but they didn't do that. And look, don't get me wrong, it's not easy to keep it all together, you know, and make sure you tick all the boxes to get the best possible outcome for your fighter. But who else is going to do it if they don't do it? I mean, let's keep it real, Frank. You've been doing this since 1980, legally with the Queensberry rules since 1980. You should have all bases covered. You see, if they did that, post-fight they could say, we told the referee that the protector was high, but he did nothing, or the referee would have made them pull the protector down.
Usyk, you can't have your cup up to your navel button. You can't have your cup up to your titties. That was a legal shot.
How long was he on the floor, Usyk? You know? How long was he on the floor?
He's on the floor for about at least 3 minutes. Then he took another 5 up, standing up. So, you know, hey.
James, why do you think it wasn't called a knockdown?
Huh?
Why do you think it wasn't called a knockdown?
I think the referee got caught up in the heat of the moment. He didn't see the shot. But I looked back at the playback, and it was a legal shot.
Was it something that you set up in the camp?
Huh?
Was that the shot that you were looking to set up in the camp?
Yeah, of course. Body. That was the order today.
Yep. And that's my OG right there, Mr. Bashir. I told you guys on the last video I did about this, he broke down how to fight southpaws on my channel.
Here, write this down. You guys write this down, then you can see what I'm talking about. Go to YouTube and look at Eddie Mustafa Muhammad versus Marvin Johnson. And Eddie Mustafa show you how to break a southpaw down, an aggressive southpaw. You break them down with body punches.
Perhaps if Mr. Bashir had Daniel for longer, they could have took the titles back to the UK, perhaps. But in saying that, Mr. Bashir, you're saying Usyk can't wear the protector up to his titties, but it's up to Team Dubois, yourself, Don Charles, Frank Warren. It's up to you guys to assess the situation and point it out that, yo, protector's too high. Now, they may have did that, and if they did, we can discuss that. If the strategy was based around body punches, you should have made sure that you told the referee that the protector was too high. But to me, it seems that Team Dubois only started screaming about a high protector post-fight.
Well, I think the referee got caught up in the heat of the moment. He didn't see the shot.
Mr. Bashir is saying the referee missed the punch. He got caught up in the occasion. That's what he's saying. Well, if that's the case, you'd have to give Usyk the benefit of the doubt that if the referee called a low blow straight away, well, Usyk's not going to act like he's getting counted. And I'm not saying he would have beat the count. I'm not saying that. But he would have reacted differently if he was being counted, as opposed to the referee saying, take your time and get up. It was a low blow. Now, Frank's running around screaming blue murder. Well, Iron Baluta just a couple of weeks back at the York Hall against Dennis McCann, Frank's prospect. He didn't exactly get a fair shake, did he? Away from home. He hurt Dennis and started teeing off. The referee stopped the fight to admonish him to say, wait until my instructions to fight. Although both fighters' hands were free. And then the 10-10 round at the end of the fight when he was just teeing off on Dennis. But nobody cares about that. Are Frank and Dennis going to run that again? Probably not, because they can get away with it.
What comes around goes around.
They can run to any of the sanctioning bodies they want. Usyk is not going to fight Daniel Dubois again. No way. And Daniel didn't even deserve the title shot in the first place, to be perfectly honest. What, beating the likes of Nathan Gorman, getting stopped by Joe Joyce, then beating Bogdan Dino and Trevor Bryan. He hasn't beat better opposition than Fabio Wardley. Adam Booth is saying it was a low blow into the bladder, which, although not as painful as a lower blow, it was clearly still below the allowed height. Dubois gave a tremendous performance to be proud of, stunned Usyk, but Usyk was just too good. Now, if you look at the comment at the bottom, Pedro Del G didn't see people screaming like this when AJ hit him with the same shot. Exactly. This is what I said during my live when AJ lost second time around to Usyk. Like, that body shot wasn't the lowest body shot, and Usyk looked like he wanted the referee to bail him out. No one spoke about how he milked that. I am one of the first who called Usyk on milking that body shot. I am one of the first. I called it live on the Hangout minutes after AJ lost. And I'm finding out today, Louis Pabon was the referee who came in and saved Usyk like a damsel in distress against AJ when Usyk milked it. And they're saying it's Louis Pabon who allegedly bailed Usyk out yesterday against Daniel. Listen, all of you people who use the AJ incident with Pabon as evidence to claim Daniel was cheated. You didn't bail AJ out at the time when he lost for the second time. You didn't call it then, but you want to call it now? Nah. Time for Daniel to go back in the queue and get some legit wins. AJ's been unified champion twice and he's bounced back from the Usyk loss with 2 wins. AJ's good. Let Daniel get some legit wins. Louis Pabon didn't rob AJ. Usyk milked it, and AJ should have followed up. He shouldn't be waiting for the referee. He shouldn't be looking at Usyk to referee the fight. He deserved to lose, and I support AJ. You deserve to lose. And Daniel lost because he couldn't block that up jab from the start. It was busting up and making his legs shudder from the first round. Everybody was talking about, Daniel, just rough him up. He's a middleweight. All you people who have been screaming that AJ needed to do this and do that. Daniel's shitty defense lost him the fight. But when people like me were mentioning that you need more than brute strength and bulldozing tactics to beat Usyk, we became haters. Daniel needs to go back in the queue. Go fight Jermaine Franklin. That's a good fight for Daniel. Go fight Jermaine Franklin. He can't punch hard. Daniel can just walk through him too. He's not a big heavyweight. Should be easy for Daniel. I'm just laughing at the Daniel Dubois and Frank Warren fan base trying to use the AJ fight as evidence for why Daniel was robbed. You weren't using that to bail out AJ when he lost for the second time against Usyk, but now you want to use it. This is what I'm saying about consistency. A lot of people don't have consistency. Maybe us Brits need to give up fighting Usyk. You know what I mean? We've had Bellew, Derek, AJ twice, now Daniel. No wonder Fury's flipping ducking the smoke. A lot of people say Derek gave him the best fight. But why is that? Derek tried to get under his punches and come up with his shots. Use his legs, punch with his legs like the shot AJ landed against Hellenius. You need to throw punches like that at the top Europeans. Daniel didn't have that. He didn't have the same rhythm that Derek did either. He didn't get close enough to Usyk to be as effective as he could be. And Usyk is taking advantage of the Brits who stand upright at times when they really need to be.
Bobbing and weaving, and let the good get even.
I think Derek Chisora said it was Hrgovic next. If it's not Tyson Fury next, no more Brits for now. Let's lay off the Brits. A lot was made of Daniel's jab, and he didn't do a bad job with it. Usyk took more chances than usual because even me with no experience of coaching, Daniel can't fight on the back foot. You push Daniel back and half the battle is done. Usyk started to target Daniel's left eye with the right hand, the same eye that was fractured by Joe Joyce where Daniel quit. The first knockdown in the 8th round, there was nothing particularly concussive landed, but Daniel's not that guy. You return fire with Daniel, he's not that guy. He's not that guy. And the second knockdown in the 9th, which ended it, the punch landed high up on the head, on the eye. And Daniel probably got flashbacks and he didn't want to continue. Second time he's quit. Daniel might score some decent victories in his career. He hasn't as yet. But as soon as he fights someone, let's say perhaps younger than him or a little hungrier, he's going to fold again. That's who Daniel is.
Let me be honest with you. The only best shot he chucked was that body shot.
Absolutely.
But everything else was whack.
I agree.
Everything else was whack.
I agree.
I don't know why he did not use his body. He did not like wrestle the guy. Grip him up. Bully him. He did not do that. He tried to make it cute, and that was no time to be cute. Yeah.
That was Derek Chisora. And before the fight, Daniel said he was just a cruiserweight, which suggests that he's going to manhandle Usyk. But Usyk was on the front foot. But it was a clever front foot game. He was still counterpunching on the front foot, waiting for Daniel to open up and then expose him. Daniel tried to move around the ring to avoid Usyk's counters, but Usyk's hands were just too fast. When Daniel thought he was out of range, he was getting caught with back hands and right hands. Inexperience, because Frank's pampered him. His hands were too low. You got to be able to multitask. If you're going to move around the ring like that, you got to have your hands up or you got to change the angles. And let's face it, his defense was primitive. Like when AJ got tagged in the 12th in the first fight with Usyk couldn't tag him again. AJ's upper body movement stopped him from hitting the canvas and perhaps getting stopped. And this is what, like, when you go Daniel, you bulldoze him over. You need skills, and AJ said as much after he lost to Usyk. It's not about size or being strong. You need skills.
You're very strong guy. Listen, you're very strong. I don't care about strong. I have to have skills. Being strong doesn't win boxing. Okay. Skills win boxing.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not strong. How did you beat me?
Let's do this.
How? Because of skills.
Let's do the.
I had character.
Okay.
And determination.
You can look at the two AJ fights. Usyk wasn't around for AJ to manhandle him. He used way more of the ring fighting AJ than he did Daniel. So Daniel can't say that Usyk ran from him. No, he stood right in front of Daniel, and Daniel did shit all. We didn't see this just a cruiserweight manhandling of Usyk. We didn't see that. Couple of good jabs from Daniel, but nothing he threw up top hurt Usyk. Just look at Usyk's face after he fought Joshua. He was bruised up pretty bad. He didn't have a mark on him after the Dubois fight. Not a mark. Now, I did notice that Usyk didn't look that solid physically at the weigh-in. We could be looking at deterioration because, yeah, Daniel did hurt him with a couple of them body shots. He definitely did. So even when I'm saying he milked it, Usyk milked it, his hand was trembling on the floor. You see his hand trembling. And if it was in the UK, yeah, Daniel might have been champion today, but we can do if maybes all day, can't we? I think people are going a little over the top that Daniel was robbed and he put up a great performance. It was cool. It was a cool performance, but I didn't expect him to do any better than what he did. But credit due to him, he's going to get all the mileage he can out of the knockdown controversy. And I don't blame him for milking it. I don't know. The bottom line is he didn't win the fight. He didn't win the fight. Now, if you're saying the blow is low, are you even interested in what the rules are? Were the shots below the navel or above? It looks like it's split down the middle. Some people think it was legal and some don't. The people who are saying it was legal, they don't seem to be quoting the rule book. The people who are saying it is legal, like Paul Smith, his brother, Ross Abner, they're quoting the rule book. We know how boxing works. Like I said, if it was in the UK, he would have probably had the titles today. But what I am not going to do, though, is just focus on this low blow all day, and not talk about the rest of the fight. Because the way I see it, there's an argument for and there's an argument against. There was also 9 rounds of action that people ain't talking about. And for the most part, Usyk was in charge of the fight. It was unusual to see Usyk actually looking for the stoppage. Did he want to impress? And in the process of trying to impress, he left himself a little open for the body shots? I don't think so. I think he's a little suspect around the torso. A lot of people are going to be saying, well, Tyson Fury will kill him. He'll bury him with them body shots. But he's got longer arms. To throw them compact type of hooks that Daniel was throwing to the body, it's a different aesthetic to a Tyson Fury fight. So there's still a lot to play for, and Usyk still wants to fight. But I understand why at this point everybody thinks that Tyson Fury will kill him after tonight's showing by Usyk. Most people are thinking now if Tyson puts it on him and works the body, it's almost a formality. No ticker tape parade for Daniel Dubois. A lot of people online are giving him the good Brit loser treatment, but Piers Morgan weren't talking about this fight. BBC Breakfast, Good Morning Britain, mainstream media. I looked through all the papers in the supermarket this morning. They didn't talk about this fight, or if they did, it was in the small print. You could probably hear that Daniel's not my favourite fighter. It's not personal. He's got no bodies on his record, and he made his name on some sparring session with Anthony Joshua, and Frank's hyped him up, and it fell apart today. You know, if all you're going to go by is the one body shot he threw, well, what part of the fight was he dominating aside from that? How did he end up fighting for the title before Joe Joyce, who beat him, only for Joyce to take on some risky fight and get beaten? Now Joe's going to try and restore his name in some rematch. Where? At the Copper Box? It's a joke. Joe has a better resume than Daniel, in my opinion. He's a better fighter. But if he's going to let Frank mug him off, he perhaps deserves what he gets. Daniel ain't got no names on his resume. He's got no names. I don't know if Daniel actually tried to qualify for the 2016 Olympics. But regardless, he would have probably been better in some of the quality amateur tournaments. Could be an argument that he should have stayed pro till the 2020 Olympics and tried to qualify in that one with Fraser, Jalaloff, etc. And Frank's got to watch out with Moses Itoma that he doesn't have him stagnating in the pros doing nothing. Moses, at 18, definitely wouldn't have been out of place representing the UK in the 2024 Olympics. He'd be 21 years of age if he turned pro 2024, 2025. What is the rush? He'd get better experience in them amateur tournaments, qualifying from out the UK, and then taking on the world's best on the Olympic stage. Like Delicious Ori, he's 26 years of age. He could have turned pro in the last 2 or 3 years, but he's holding out for the 2024 Olympics. Now there's no guarantee he wins, but it's a good gamble. You get that gold medal, he'll be better positioned than all the other British heavyweights turning pro around that time. He's already won the Commonwealth Games, a bronze at the Europeans in 2022. And from what I heard, he's inspired by Anthony Joshua. That's why he's going to go for the Olympics. It's not like Marvin Hagler, after winning the AAUs in 73, basically with no sponsorship or grants. He said to himself he can't keep punching for trophies. He turned pro. And if he had won the Olympics in 76, he wouldn't have had the struggle he did as a pro on the Philly circuit with about 50 fights behind him before he got his first title shot. But then again, without that struggle, he wouldn't be the fighter who we speak about today, the legend. But, you know, guys like Delicious, they don't have to do that. They don't have to do that. Fraser Clark, they don't have to do that. How old is Fraser? Fraser's about 30. He turned pro about 27, 28. Let's move over to ESPN Top Rank. Jared Anderson stopped Andre Rudenko. They gave him a nice feel-good fight after the struggle with Charles Martin. But I really want to talk about the other fight, the other heavyweight fight. I don't know, the Kontrabutski I saw looked a little more mobile than this guy who came out here against Efe Ajagba. Now it looked like he planned to walk Ajagba down in the first round. I said, this is interesting, high guard. But he didn't really offer much more. And Efe picked him off with jabs, right hands to the body, throwing uppercuts, and I would argue it's the best I've seen Efe Ajagba box. Because this guy was supposed to be serious competition. He pulled out of the Jared Anderson fight, and Charles Martin replaced Kontrabutski. But Kontrabutski crumbled in there. He crumbled. Ajagba's footwork looks a lot better. His instincts, which I've always said are his biggest flaw, his lack of natural instincts as a fighter. He seems to be less inhibited. Now, there was an infringement early in the second round. I don't know if the feet got tangled up or if Kontrabutski tried to use an elbow and Efe didn't like it. Efe landed a beautiful right uppercut in the second. A beautifully timed shot. I think Kontrabutski tried to hide that it hurt him. He took it well. And it was when Efe started to go to the body. And they were borderline low punches. They were. But the way Kontrabutski reacted to it, it's like he wanted the referee to step in. But this is the pros. And Tim Bradley and Joe Tessitore said, if a fighter doesn't think the referee is protecting him, they'll take matters into their own hand. And Ajagba landed a good jab to the body. This was a good punch. And Kontrabutski turned away. He was reacting very weird to the inside exchanges. Very weird. And his head clearly wasn't right. Efe kept stabbing that left to the body and throwing that long right to the body. And Kontrabutski just couldn't get his feet set. And they got tangled up, pulled each other to the ground. And at this stage, it was still interesting to see Efe looking sharp. And there was no indicator on what was going to happen. Late in the second, Kontrabutski landed some shots, but Efe got the better of the exchanges, cleaner punches. And he definitely hurt Kontrabutski with a big right cross to the head. And at this stage, Kontrabutski was looking for a way out. Third round, another right hand to the body. Kontrabutski backs up, and now he's trying the theatrics to get the referee's attention, and he throws a left uppercut, a low left uppercut. This is a low blow, and Efe is writhing on the canvas in pain. As Kontrabutski lands it, he has the nerve to shove Efe with his right hand as he makes his descent to the canvas. He's deducted a point. Another right to the body, and this was perfectly legal from Ajagba. Efe starts teeing off. Kontrabutski throws another blatantly deliberate low blow. The referee warns him and deducts another point. And you have a feeling this one could be over soon. Efe retaliates with his own low shot, which he's warned about, and the fight is quick becoming a farce. In what looks like it could have potentially been a really good fight. Kontrabutski throws another low blow, deliberate. The referee just says, yo, what's going on? But he's basically struggling to deal with Efe's reach. That's what it is. He's never faced a jab of that length, hitting him head and body. And he looked physically tired, frustrated. He mentally just couldn't get his head around the job. The jug was basically having it all his way, like landing 1-2s and jabs, and has got a nice rhythm going. Kontrabutski is 34, and he's waited rather a long time to try and make his name on the scene, and it looks like he's probably spent too much time in the amateurs, and this was a horrible performance. I don't know, he just mentally fell apart in there. I mean, the referee was literally between both of them when he threw another right south of the border, right in front of the referee, and he got tossed out. He didn't want to fight. He knew that Ajagba had his number and he didn't want to fight. Got DQ'd. Ajagba, perhaps lose the blonde hair. Looked like a pint of Guinness in there. It's either Kontrabutski was that bad or Ajagba's made significant improvements. But he looked good. He looked good, and it's a shame Kontrabutski spoilt the fight. But, you know, Ajagba fighting tougher competition than Daniel Dubois. He just hasn't had someone like Frank Warren to pull strings to get him into title shots.
It go off, it go off.